Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the Dojo Live recap show. That only means one thing. It's Monday again, and today is Monday, December 13th, 2021. I'm Tulio Siragusa. Joining me is Kim Lantis, and we are here to recap two shows that we had last week. We have a show every day at 12 o'clock Pacific, but these are live shows. Every day we have one, even if it's a rebroadcast, because we have hundreds of shows. So there's always going to be something on. So we had two live shows. The first one was with Andrew Levy, who's the co-founder and CEO at Aircover. And we talked about AI-driven future of remote sales. And the second show was with Angela Castillo, who's the co-founder and COO at HelloGuru. The topic was free to developers using NoCode. These are very interesting conversations. Learned a lot. Love having these guests. They were very interactive and educational. And that's the beautiful thing about Dojo Live is, at least as a host, what I enjoy doing is learning. And we hope that whoever's watching is learning what's going on in the industry as well, how the movers and shakers of the tech industry are shaping our future. This is where you can learn about it. So, Kim, of these two shows, any one of them stood out the most for you, and why?
Yeah, thank you, Tulio. I like them both. I think tapping into what you're just saying, both of them, I think, are easy to digest, which I appreciated. With Andrew, I mean, the way I kind of interpret Aircover is this little like AI buddy who's there as this kind of support for people who are in roles like mine, specifically sales roles, which is interesting. A trend that was happening anyway and then got accelerated with COVID, where most sales are now happening remotely. Doesn't look to be changing. So it's a really great tool, I think, that's going to be up and coming, useful now and also in the future, especially when you look at the idea of an 8-month estimated ramp time for sales executives to actually kind of get their feet wet with the companies that they're in. So I think it's a way to help, bring that ramp time down and just help also not just the individual reps, but collaboration amongst teams and knowledge sharing, all these really great movements. So I really appreciated that and what they're doing. And like I said, really easy to digest shows. The show with Angela was no exception. I think this trend of no code being the new code is kind of interesting, but really focusing on just democratizing and making, freeing the developers in the sense of other roles. I think their focus is project management, right? Where individuals don't have to be depending upon developers to set up SQL and different things. They can now do that with, click, drag, drop, and then freeing up the rest of your development team to really do what it is that they do best, right? And so I think that's an interesting shift to what the future might be holding as well.
Yeah, and I think it's good for everyone, right? If you're a developer, you'd rather work on building a product than setting up reports and tracking information on when the product management team wants to understand that this feature gets some traction. What kind of traction is it getting? Are people using it? Why are they not using it? So there's all this internal coding that developers have to do for internal clients, basically trying to monitor the success of the enhancements that they recently released, or why a certain feature is not converting, etc. And
it's a lot of work, right?
Yeah, and it's a lot of work. And so as a product team, you're codependent on the developers giving time to do this, because you're not going to devote someone full time. It's not a full-time job, and they already have their job to build a product. So no one's happy to set this up, and it's time consuming. And so what their product is doing is allowing a drag and drop capability so that analysts and product teams can actually build their own reports and track and validate, for example, when a new feature has been released, whether it's getting adopted or utilized properly, etc. So it is about empowerment. And like she said, like Angela said, it's democratizing software development in a way that allows the layman, the non-engineer, to be able to at least see information and track it. So I think it's a trend that's going to continue over the years as AI continues to evolve, as open source continues to evolve and more libraries become available. There's no reason why a bot couldn't drag and drop capabilities. I mean, we've already seen that in websites with WordPress, right? We have managed themes where you don't have to be a developer anymore to build a WordPress site. So in time, we're going to see more of that for sure.
So I think what's happening is just, it's got to be, the way it's limited to us now is very niche specific, right? Wanting to get no code, but has to be developed for very specific purposes. So that's where it's at. Entrepreneurs out there, figure out where you can apply no code and be the first one to get into your niche.
There you go.
But I think
we had another no code company a while ago as a guest. Kintone was also a no code platform with Dave Landa, and that was an interesting show as well. So if you missed it, just type in dojo.live and you can watch any show. There's a search box. You can use the search box. Type in a topic, any topic. There's over 400 interviews. Chances are something will come up.
You know what also is a theme, Tulio, that's been running through, I think, both this last week's shows with Aircover as well as HelloGuru, and this idea of empowerment and using technology, right? Strangely enough, I think the use of technology actually allows for us to become more human, right? In the sense of using technology for that account executive to no longer be worried around these little details that I don't remember, or how to access the most recent document, and just to be able to connect, right, to the people that you're trying to serve, that you're prospecting. This idea of HelloGuru, no code, freeing up, developers to focus on what they're doing, allowing the project manager to do their job more effectively, more efficiently, and ultimately coming around full circle. Because if it's easier for them to identify the true needs of their product, then those developers are going to have, I think, an increased sense of purpose and, engagement into what it is that they're actually coding as well.
It can become a slippery slope, though, if not careful. I recall back when SAP first came out, in the early days of SAP, a lot of companies implemented their solution right out of the box, and 70% of those implementations failed because you can't have the software run your banking business. You have to adopt it and customize it. And eventually everybody figured that out and went back and made it effective. And now today everybody realizes you can have software, but you have to adopt it to your business. So similarly, all these technologies, whether it's no code or even the AI-driven remote sales features of Aircover, it's dangerous to get to this place where uniformly you just create structure where everybody follows the same thing, because then people get disengaged. It's like, where do I add any value to this if all I'm doing is following this template? So it's important, and what I like about it is it's the idea of democratizing things, right? So give access, give the intelligence, provide the air cover, but let people use their noggins to leverage the information in a way that's applicable. All right, so
we got 1 minute and a half-ish.
What do we got coming up this week?
Yeah. So allow me. It's a full week, and also I think the final week of shows as we're coming into 2022. I think I got that right. Last week I said 2021. It's been a mess. So tomorrow, Tuesday the 14th, we're going to be speaking with Jennifer Wild and Dan McClure, managing directors at Innovation Ecosystem, where they're going to be talking about bigger opportunities are waiting for you, more specifically, how to claim greater value with the innovation tools of today. Kind of really in line with what you were just saying, Tulio. On Wednesday, we've got Deep Varma, who is of Varo Bank, using technology to build a bank for all. So how to better meet the evolving needs of your customers. And that is Tuesday the 15th. We've got Thursday the 16th, last but not least, Richard Galvez, Director of Software and Data Science. And I'm not sure who the company is for that one. I'm so sorry, but the topic is very interesting. It's reducing landfill globally by diverting recyclables and compost using AI and robotics. So really near and dear to our heart here with ecology. So 12 o'clock Pacific, right here, Dojo Live.
Come back tomorrow. See you then.